Hi, my name is Carlos Almanza. I'm the Capital Access Program Manager with California Capital. We've been around for 30 some odd years, so I think one of the things that is going to be absolutely important and essential is as you migrate over from being a full-time employee or maybe kind of looking at transitioning into a full-time entrepreneurship, we're here to assist. We are a women business center, which means that we're able to provide a lot of the services of one-on-one coaching, and then we also provide access to capital. If you are a veteran, if you are a women-owned business, if you do work in a low-wealth community, or if you've been recently incarcerated, or you're a part of the LGBTQ community, then this might be an opportunity for you to be able to go ahead and contact us and let us know about your financing needs. One of the things I want to kind of talk to you about is as we migrate into the full spectrum of self-employment or entrepreneurship, one of the key components is, of course, going to be the business plan. These are tools that are designed to really help you sort of kind of write your goal and really allows you the opportunity to manage your business successfully. Not only from establishing a niche, establishing a marketing plan, but also really doing a lot of the marketing component that allows you to really establish what are the current trends, what's going to be happening as you migrate into that full entrepreneurship, but also too is how will you be able to go ahead and cope with the many changes as you go. So the business plan is going to be your working document, full live working document. And so here at California Capital, we're able to go ahead and establish that program for you. We do have, I would direct you over to our website at www.cacapital.org. And you can actually sign up through our 12, I believe it's through the 12 or 13 step module that allows you to really build up your business plan. So it asks you a series of questions, and then as you progress, once you complete it, at the very end of that session, out comes a business plan, all for free. Okay, so we're able to provide those services for you. Also too is we really encourage a lot of our folks to take advantage of all the available resources. Most of these resources are free of charge, whether it be through the SBA, the Small Business Administration, or the Small Business Development Centers, or the Women Business Centers, such as what we are. We really encourage you to really go ahead and take advantage of those services, from preparing the business plan, such as what we do, to also securing the financing and expanding or moving your business. So that's going to be essential as you progress. I would say the next step is, where will you be doing your business? Are you, for instance, the example that I provide you is if you are establishing or implementing a mobile food service and you're covering 3 counties, that could be 5 cities per se. Each city is going to have their own prerequisites, their own required licensing and permits for you to be able to operate. So from time to time, it really sort of kind of allows you the opportunity to really kind of explore deep as to how that's going to impact. If you have a home-based business, will you have the appropriate licensing? If you're moving into what's called a brick and mortar or an office space, our financing will allow you to be able to seek those funds that will allow you to go ahead and make those tenant improvements, file for specific licensing and utilizing those funds to pay for those. So that's what we're here to do. The other thing is going to be the most important, and by the time it comes into me, is the financing piece of it. So just imagine this. If your entity or your business or your project costs $100,000, your owner's equity, your investment, whatever you've put in there, your skin in the game, is going to be, say, $60,000. What's left, we're your gap financing. So we're what's left, right? The $40,000, that's where we come in. Okay. So it's going to be very important that as you migrate through the process, your investment is going to be the equal part of what we're going to go ahead and come in and try to fulfill that gap. So look for local, state government support and state subsidies that will allow you to really go ahead and help you meet that gap. So it's quite often that when you're talking to some of these financial institutions, it used to be, and they relax a little more, that unless you were asking for $150,000 and you've been in business for a couple of years, there's a good chance they probably weren't going to look at you. Okay, so that's sort of kind of changed. But we're able to go ahead and provide a lot of that access to capital, and therefore it makes us immediate direct lenders. Okay, the next step is going to be something very, very important: is how is your business going to be assigned? In other words, defining the legal structure of your business. What works best for you? So if for instance, you're going to be a sole proprietorship, is it going to be a limited liability corporation, or is it going to be a nonprofit? So all these very different caveats of how the business is going to be structured is going to be absolutely crucially important that you identify and you really, really sit down and say, how am I going to do that? Also, too, something quite often that we see is that it's not uncommon for, as you sort of kind of begin the process of being a small business owner, that you start commingling, and we see that quite often. You see a lot of the commingling of funding within banking accounts. So one of the first things that we'll advise you to do is establish a separate business line of credit, a separate business banking account, whether it be checking or savings. So it totally separates both your personal versus your business. Because even as you progress, or if you come in for us for some access to capital, it's going to be absolutely imperative that definition exists, and that deciding as far as what's going to be personal and what's going to be business really kind of hold separate as you progress. Okay, I would say the sixth step would be is how are you going to register your business within the state, or the DBA, doing business as. So you have to register your name with the state agency. Once that happens, you're going to see that you're going to actually, very similar to how we are assigned Social Security numbers, the business is assigned a specific identifying number. And so that will allow you to be able to stand alone and to be defined as a business. Okay. With that, of course, is registering with the state for local and state taxes. So remember, you're going to be paying workman's compensation. You're going to be paying unemployment. You're going to be paying disability insurance. You're going to become an employer. So not only with that is, remember, the goal here is that you're not only going to retain a job, but you're going to create jobs. So with the whole premise of you expanding and exploring, there's going to be a good opportunity for you to sort of kind of tap into all the various different resources. But all and again is that's going to be an essential component for you to be able to proceed with the business. Now, I mentioned earlier is being proactive in obtaining both the licensing and the permits for the business. So very different, as I mentioned my example earlier of if you say you have a mobile food service and that particular mobile food service allows you to have access to maybe 4 or 5 different counties, each city is going to have that those counties represent, or within those counties, and where the cities are, those specific cities have specific guidelines as far as permitting. So it's important that we identify whatever cities you're going to be covering or whatever counties you're going to be covering, that not only that, but you have access to capital to cover those specific costs incurred as a result of that. And that's when we do a lot of our mobile food service sort of kind of trainings. We see that a lot of those folks sort of kind of become, that does become somewhat challenging. But we don't call them challenges, we call them obstacles, because obstacles we can kind of pour aside and we continue pushing through. Now remember, with this particular program, I'm going to go back to the one of our main components that we really function, and it has functioned for the last couple of years, is accessing our Jumpstart loan program. Because you are going to be an employer, you have to understand what are some of those responsibilities as an employer, from hiring, right? All the employee relations that it has to go through. So that's something that additional training that's going to have to go and happen. And so with that, our Jumpstart loan program allows you to be able to, one, whether you're going to create a job or retain a job, whether you're going to go ahead and grow and thrive, or you're going to be a home-based business, whatever it is, that's going to be designed. So therefore, remember, it's the economic development impact that you make between those areas where you're currently residing and what your area of service is going to be. Okay, if you're in e-commerce, that's going to be different, but we want to be able to track that, and that's why we're able to provide a lot of the guidance, a lot of the expertise through our business coaching, to be able for you, our business owner or potential business owner, to really thrive. We also do have our Procurement Technical Assistance Center, which if you are a veteran, disabled veteran as well, if you need assistance in registering for some of those state and local and federal contracts, we're able to provide that guidance so you can register through our procurement program. And so therefore, a lot of these big companies that have access to funding are supposed to allot a specific amount of funding, so you're able to go ahead and bid for those contracts, and we can prepare you for that. Right? So I think what's really key is, one, is that you've made the first step in inquiring about what's available right now, whether it be our access to capital, our access to our Dream Builders program, our Women Business Center, which sort of kind of encompasses all of our direct lending programs where I'm a part of. But also too is looking for alternate resources, whether it be through the SBA.gov or some of the SBDCs or the Small Business Development Corporations that are currently available throughout the state and nationwide. But most importantly is be able to seek the counseling, the resources, the mentorship, and most of all the training to ensure that you have an enormous amount of success. One of the things that I also want to talk about is our various different funding sources that we have access to. I mentioned our Jumpstart loan program. It has flexible underwriting guidelines. Credit is secondary, and yes, you did hear right. Credit is secondary. That is not so much an emphasis, but as long as you're able to repay the debt back. It doesn't mean that we're giving away free money. It just means that maybe we prefer to see nothing derogatory or outstanding being collected on within the last 6 months. I think that kind of pretty much guarantees. That program goes from as low as $500 to upwards of $10,000. Our programs don't run generally beyond 5 years or 60 months, and it's prime plus 5. So right now, you're probably seeing about a 9.25% interest rate for 5 years. Say $10,000 probably runs you about, I would say, upwards of a couple of $100, about $206 a month for the next 5 years. So once we take a look at that information, it's important that you have, if you are currently working, we're going to require 3 years tax returns. We're going to want at least 2 months of your bank statements. We'd like to see a balance sheet. We'd like to see your business plan if you are a startup, even if you've been in business for a while. And we also want to see a year-to-date profit and loss statement. What are you projecting that you're going to be making? Okay, so all that, we're going to be able to go ahead and sit down with you and really explore the various different opportunities of how we can assist you. The other thing that is absolutely key to remember is we cannot land on an idea. And so often a lot of our entrepreneurs come with us with this great idea that I know that I can just do this if I had access to X number of dollars. Well, until you've actually built that into your business plan and you really laid it out and you're really taking the time for your investment to kick in, remember, we're going to kick in the remaining money that you've invested so far. I think that really pretty much ensures that you're going to have success and you'll have an opportunity to really thrive. Again, If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call. We have access to a lot of the programs here, and if not, you can call us and schedule an appointment. The other thing too is that I would ask you to do is check out for our free workshops that we have constantly going right now. If you just go into our website at www.cacapital.org, you can kind of navigate through the process and see what's available and what's coming up within the next series of workshops that we have available. Our area of service encompasses as far down as Stanislaus County, San Joaquin County, and Sacramento. And so we have resources available that we can combine in-house. Our loans, like I mentioned, generally go from $500 to upwards of $10,000, and then we can go even up to $100,000 for the micro lending piece. If you are an existing business and you're looking for, say, something higher, say in the $100,000 to $1 million range, we can go ahead and do that utilizing our state loan guarantee program. How that works is we're able to go ahead and guarantee 80% of whatever a community bank is willing to lend. Typically, the big box banks aren't going to go ahead and lend that amount of money, but in this case, well, they would, but that now it will be a required that you'd be in business for at least a couple of years. So in this case, we would direct you to one of our partners, community bank partners, where they're incentivized to go ahead and do the deal rather than to look for ways to decline it as a result of that specific program. So again, my name is Carlos Almanza. I'm the Capital Access Program Manager. Feel free to outreach over to us if you should have any other questions, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.